Hi, welcome back. The next thing I'm going to make is another vehicle for the ash wastes. I think this time it's going to be some sort of two-legged walker vehicle. The starting point is going to come from this pretty new GW kit, which was a piece of terrain from one of the recent Kill Team boxes, and it just goes together to form quite a sturdy looking box. And the thing that I like about it is that on each of the two main sides, it's a round shape here. What I'm imagining is this forming the main body of the walker, and then on either side of it there's going to be a leg come down, in the style of a Star Wars ATST type leg, for want of a better description. So that's going to be the starting point. What I've been doing is starting to look out bits and pieces from the bits box. Just a kind of random selection. There's going to be a few standout bits that you'll maybe recognise. The Tipp-Ex Pocket Mouse thing there is going to form, I think, part of the leg, hopefully. There's no plan, there's nothing set in stone, but what I do is I just grab all the bits that catch my eye and that I can sort of picture being part of the final build. Inspiration, as always. Necromunda magazine is a great place to look. Any of these kind of old books from the time, sci-fi art, things like that, are all good sources of inspiration. But in this Necromunda magazine, the guys produced additional rules for the game, which included vehicles and vehicular combat. And there's quite a lot of information in here covering those rules, always accompanied by really nice artwork and little pictures of their actual gaming table with the models that they had scratch built. They put together categories of vehicles. So you have wheeled, tracked, walker, crawler and skimmer. And I want to make something for all of these at some point, just for the fun of the process. In this instance, it's going to be another walker, similar to what I've done previously on the channel. But like I say, this time it's going to be, whereas the last one was more of a light walker with only a couple of crew, this is going to be either an armoured or heavy armoured walker with a larger crew this time. And then here you get all the rules for movement. Transporting models for your crew members, ramming collisions and crashes. It's really in depth. There's a lot going into that, and there's some nice inspiration there for a design. But yeah, pages of rules, hit tables, and all the rest of it. And then I thought, interestingly, and further on in issue 8, there's a whole set of rules for what's called a big rig. And it's a great design. It's a great kitbashed model. You can see that they've used a few of the original land speeders, the plastic land speeders. That door might be familiar to some of you that kind of recognise the shape of it. And they look to have glued a few of those together to form the kind of larger kind of cabin with the tracks. And it's really nice, and there's a whole set of rules around that, and playing particular games using that. and the gang that comes with it, the journeyman gang, are based from this big rig. It's a really good theming for your ash waste stuff, you know, and something I'd maybe like to have a go at building at some point also. Just trying to get this door out from the bulkhead. I intend to cover this up anyway with other items for the kit bash, but I would like to save the door. It's a nice designed door and I could use it elsewhere, if not for this build, for other builds. So I'm just going to work around the edge of it with the little drill and then maybe just saw out what remains to save that. Okay, that looks a mess from the edge, but I've managed to save the full door at least. I can tidy that up at another time. Not sure it fits together absolutely perfectly, a few gaps here and there. But overall it's going to be quite a sturdy basis for the rest of this Walker build. It should end up being a decent size. Okay, so the head is going to be using this helicopter piece, which would normally be aligned like that. I quite like the idea of sticking that on there, and that's going to be the front. I just want some sort of interface piece between them. This is a part from an old shaver, electric shaver, or maybe the charging station for the shaver. And when you have old objects like that you might be throwing out because they no longer work or they've been replaced, sometimes worth just taking them apart and seeing what interesting bits and pieces there might be inside there that you can make use of elsewhere. So that's going to get super glued on there. And for the cockpit, there's a bit of an annoying gap in the back of the model there. It just so happens that this piece from a different kit just fits in there quite nicely. Because I still want it to look like the pilot or the two guys that get in there. I still want there to be what appears to be room for them to squeeze through some sort of doorway or hatch to get through to that. So I think some super glue to hold that there. You may need some green stuff around the edge, or maybe, you know, just like a thin rolled up piece around the neck of that, just to maybe imply some sort of conduit or, you know, rubber that is around that to close the gap between the two pieces. Want to line it up reasonably straight. Got this other modern GW piece here, nice kind of engine part. I want that on the back side of this Walker. The piece in here doesn't, I mean, it's a nice size height wise to fit in that recess, but I want to cut out a piece of styrene just to fill that gap in. So just working out the diameter of this, 27, maybe 26. Yeah, so I'll mark that on a sheet of styrene and cut out a piece. Okay, so that's a piece of styrene in the right shape. Which way round? Might do it this way. Right, so that gives me my, overall longest length so far, at least on the model. It's going to weigh quite a lot. I'm going to have to make sure that these legs that I build are pretty sturdy. Kind of looking for it to stand a bit off the ground. The question is, maybe it needs 4 legs. Well, we'll see how it works out as I start building those legs. This is a part from a water filter, one of those Brita water filters. Nice kind of shaped, moulded part. Thought it would be good for the underbelly, and it happens to fit quite nicely, length and width wise, under there. As the model moves further away from being just 2 legs, it's just not going to be stable enough for something as bulky in what will be as heavy a model when finished. So I'm going to try and build 4 legs onto this now. I'm still going to use this as the kind of main shoulder point for the front 2 legs, but this is another piece of the shaver assembly, I think. As it happens, it looks like it might just fit nicely on the back. Again, it's just about having a rake through the bits box and finding different items and seeing what goes together. And usually if it kind of fits, then it's worth gluing in place. May have to change the camera angle to get this all in. But you can see the overall silhouette again starting to form. And what's handy here is we've got some points that we can hinge some back legs on. Okay, a main feature of this is going to be those legs. And this Tipp-Ex Pocket Mouse, I think, is going to form part of those 2 main legs. I certainly see it as being something that would appear, up at the shoulder, the main hinge point, main pivot point for the leg. And with the 2 halves, it'll give me 1 for each side. And I quite like the idea of having these cogs and bands visible, although impractical if they're exposed. I'm thinking it's a nice sort of feature to have that. For the actual leg structures themselves, I happen to have a couple of these helicopter fuselages, whatever the correct term would be, and because there's 2 of them, makes them ideal for what I'm trying to do. Cut them in half, and what I found is that the lower half can kind of just click in to the leg there and start to form a main piece. Some pieces now also for the feet, I think from a Space 1999 kit perhaps, or a Eagle kit. Might make a nice foot if I get the right parts for joining that up. And then it's just going to be a case of working out how to get this to stay together. I'm kind of thinking that overall something like that starts to look like one of those reverse bending legs, or reverse jointed inverted legs. Tricky to make it strong enough We can always bulk it up with other parts. It looks like the sort of thing that could be hinged. Well, I think in the first instance I'll just get these items super glued in so they don't move around. Don't need them to rotate. Nice noise there. Did that stick? Let's see. It's got a satisfying click as that goes into place. And then we'll just glue that in also. Right, let's just glue this in and see how it looks. Somewhere there. Put the band back in also. Then we need some more detail, some more connecting parts. A couple of these kind of cog pieces, and then this item from some other kit. That'd be quite good just to put that there. And a wheel arch from some other kit here, which happens to fit in there. Just remove these parts. And just a couple of small circular pieces to help complete the look. I'm always making sure I have two of each, just so I can do the other side, a similar look. Okay, so I've got a lot of holes to fill. Maybe just use some sheets of styrene for that. Next problem is going to be how to connect this to the foot and turn this into something that looks like a complete leg. So I found this piece here, which I do have two of, and just looking at how this all goes together, that happens to go there, and that happens to go there. And it all kind of sits together. And I like the position that that leaves the leg in, doing it that way. And I think just out of convenience, when things like this all kind of happen to fit, it's worth just gluing it together. And then I'll worry about building some more parts around the foot or the ankle joint area. Hold it that way. Just make sure that it's all somewhat lined up. Okay, let that dry. Hopefully strengthen up a little bit, and then can add some more to it. Okay, just need to get more of a pivot point built into this foot piece. So I've just been cutting up some small pieces of plastic, because the foot needs to look like it can actually flex and rotate. To some degree anyway. I mean, we're not making some mechanically accurate model, but I think it's worth nodding towards things being able to move in some way. think we need some sort of indication of a toe or something on the front of this foot. Maybe some claws. Again, I'm looking for stuff that I can repeat for the other leg. So I always need to make sure I've got other bits. Just putting together something to go in the back of the leg there. Okay, I think all that remains for now is to fill in the gaps just with some styrene sheet cut to size, and then create the second leg. And I think that would do it. Can do some more detailing later on with hoses or other bits and pieces as needed. So yeah, let's get these holes filled in. Okay, that's the two legs now built. Pretty symmetrical, or as good as I can do it. So now a case of gluing those to the main body. Not sure how it's going to stand up, but I think for the time being at least it'd be good to get them glued on. So I'm going to have them stood off from the main body, so I'll just chop a couple of these cones up. Just kind of ridge around there that I'm going to use as a guide. Okay, and maybe just to get a bit more contact area, I'm going to put something inside here just to bridge across so there's a bit more glue on surface. Try to do this on camera if I can. It's getting a bit big to show. I just scuff up this surface here. I would like to kind of get level if I can in terms of the top of the main body. Got that gripped straight away. Not much time to move that. I'll pull out with the camera later for a better shot. Yeah, just trying to work on the two back legs now and finding enough bits that I can use where I've got pairs of them. Just sliced off the base of these parts here. I think that'll make for a decent base of the foot. Just random bits stuck together now. Good way to work through some of those bits that have been hanging around the bits box for a long time. Kind of looks like a leg part to me. And I'm just kind of guessing right now in terms of how this is going to look or fit together. Don't really have a plan. Put together a couple of pieces to try and make a kind of scavenged box section for the upper thigh. I think I need about 1.5 inches to get from the knee up to the thigh joint to try and keep this robot overall level. So it's going to be pretty rough, but happens to sort of fit okay. Like I say, it's a bit of a gamble because once you start chopping these bits up, kind of hoping that it all lines up okay. Plenty of super glue and bicarbonate of soda to hold it all together. And as always, the bicarbonate of soda just helps the super glue set, but it also gives you that nice corroded joint. Just checking that up against the robot, or the walker, kind of looks about the right height. So that gives me a basis for a leg, so I'll get the other one done now. And then for that top pivot point, just working in another plastic wheel. Doesn't have to be an exact fit. It's just enough to get the piece into position and glued in. And that'll give me something to connect up onto the main unit with. Okay, so the back legs are going to go on something like that. So it's going to be a nice plastic to plastic join. And trying to hold overall the model in a kind of level position. Okay, it's going to stand, which is the main thing. So that's the initial build now complete. It's upright and it's got its 4 legs. And I think that's about as far as I'm going to take it in this first video. There's going to be a second video where I'm going to continue on with the detailing of the model, which will be a layer of extra bits and pieces glued on, connecting hoses, things like that, just to help finish it off. And then I'll do a third video painting this up. So this is the either armoured or heavy armoured walker vehicle for the ash wastes. It's got a good size to it. Yeah, just for a bit of scale, there's a couple of miniatures, standard 28mm type miniatures. So overall it's pretty large model. It's maybe gotten a bit too big from what I'd initially planned. But yeah, so that's it for now. And hopefully in the next couple of videos I can get this finished. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching.